Hello, it's Dr. Rhonda Johnson, and today is Friday, November 13th. There's a viral video going around in Italy, and in this video, there's a man in the emergency room who had collapsed and died in the bathroom while awaiting a COVID test. Another video shows a person lying face down on a bed, surrounded by uneaten food, and the person filming the video says, "This one, we don't know whether he is dead or alive." And then there's another scene in this video that shows a hospital parking lot with suspected COVID-19 patients receiving oxygen in their cars as they wait outside because the emergency room is too full. This is happening in Italy. Now, it has not happened here in the United States, but hospitals all over the United States are in a crisis. They are quickly becoming overwhelmed with the COVID critically ill. Many of our hospitals are so short of critical care staff, and some hospitals are using nursing students to help take care of the critically sick and retired healthcare workers. Many hospital staff say COVID-19 patients are the sickest patients that they've ever cared for. Folks, this is the true reality of COVID-19. Sometimes our memories are faded, by the sheer tragedy of this pandemic. But I am going to just briefly remember some of the names that I have of people that I've never met, but I read their stories in the newspaper. One of Justin Hunter, a 17-year-old young man from Atlanta who lost both of his parents within 4 days from COVID-19. The Isma children, 13, 18, and 20, who lost their parents. Their parents were only 46 and 52 years old in Detroit from COVID-19. There were 8 children in New Jersey who lost both parents 5 months apart. And then there's the grandmother, Miss Anadila Diaz, who's 56 in Florida. Her daughter, 26-year-old single mother, had 3 children, died of COVID-19, and she's raising the children. There are probably names that you could call out of people that you know, because this has been a deadly pandemic, a total humanitarian disaster. And many of these people, sadly, did not have to die. Their infections are preventable. Right now in the United States, the death toll stands roughly at 250,000 people. Sometimes the magnitude of these numbers are hard to imagine. So I'm going to give you a visual just to think about. And it has to do with football, America's favorite pastime. Now we have 2 new stadiums in the United States, Sophie Stadium in California and Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Add that with Soldiers Field, one of the oldest and smallest stadiums, and Heinz Field here in my hometown of Pittsburgh. So why am I talking about these stadiums? Folks, if we do the math, there are enough people who have died from COVID-19 in the United States to almost completely fill up these 4 football stadiums. And 25,000 more people are expected to die in the next 2 weeks. This is a crisis. More people have died in the last 7 months than died in 9/11, the American Civil War, World War I, Vietnam War, Korean War, the Iraqi War, and the war in Afghanistan, and the War of 1812. This is really something. And the number of infected people are rising exponentially. Folks, how many children will have to say, "I miss my mommy" or "I miss my daddy"? How many friends and family and coworkers will we mourn? This has got to stop. Folks, until the new administration takes place, there is not a single plan in place that can protect you. So you have to protect yourself until a vaccine becomes available. So have your call to action. And I have some suggestions. Number 1 is to treat every person as if they're possibly infected with COVID-19 if they live outside your household, because we don't know who has this and who doesn't. Number two, experts say that younger people under the age of 25 are driving this infection, and then they give it to others who may not be able to shake it off. Now, I'm not blaming our young people. This pandemic affects everybody, and this new life is hard for everybody. And it's hard to have the skills that you need to do all this masking and living in quarantine when you're young. Plus, many of the young people are working, filling in all these essential jobs, delivering our groceries, products, teaching and caring for children, working in the nursing homes, and working on the front line, which are exposing them to infection. So, what can we do? We can stop unnecessary activity, folks. I know you don't like to hear the word shutdown, so how about this instead? Stop any unnecessary activity. It's time to think about everything that we do, every activity. Is it a must do or a want to do? Every little bit is going to help. If we could, for one, shut down some of these celebrations, getting together to watch sports games, birthday parties, street parties, even protests and rallies. Right now, if it involves people outside your immediate household, we need to really be careful and shut this down or either postpone it until next year. It's just a small sacrifice to slow down this pandemic. And don't forget to use your weapons of prevention, your masking, hand washing, and I say stay more than 6 feet apart from the nearest person. I keep harping about opening up the windows to cross ventilate your indoor space. Why do we want to do this? Because most of us would rather be 6 feet apart than 6 feet under. And let's keep our loved ones, young and old, from dying in a hospital room alone or collapsing on the floor somewhere. By the time you finish watching this video, at least 300 people will have become infected with the coronavirus. It's getting harder and harder to avoid getting infected. So our best strategy is to continue to be careful and be safe. This is Dr. Rhonda Johnson. My views are my own. Have a blessed day.